This throws a lot of students off because they don't know what the word decimal places means. But once you go through the method, it just becomes so simple. So let's write this number here. Okay, 123.456. Okay. So what do we mean by decimal places? I'm going to put that in inverted commas because it is lingo. So there we go. So what do we mean by that? Well, here's our decimal point. And those of you who know their place value rules, you know that the 4 is tenths, 5 is hundredths, and 6 is thousandths. Well, all those thirds, each number to the right of this decimal point is a decimal place. So this one here, let me get a different color pen. This one here is 1 decimal place. And this one here is 2 decimal place. So no prizes for this. This one's going to be called 3 decimal place. That's the logic done. That's what we mean by decimal places. One thing I want to point out, decimal places, if you're too lazy to write decimal place, you can write D.P. And any examiner or mathematician will know immediately that is decimal place. Okay? I'm going to be using the shorthand from now on because it's quicker to write. So you could be asked, so scrap all this out. You could be given a number like this, and you could be straight out asked, what is this to 1 dp? In the exam, they're going to call it decimal place. They're not going to be cruel and expect you to know the shorthand, but it is worth knowing the shorthand. Saves you writing. What is this to 1 dp? So we look at it and we say, right, so the number we're looking at, we're concentrating on this 4 here. So we can write 1, 2, 3 point. But we can't immediately write 4. We need to look to the number to the right because you see, this is rounding. So the rules of rounding apply here. Is the number to the right of the 4 5 or more? Yes, it is. So that 4 now becomes a 5. So we just write 123.5. And all these numbers here disappear. Do not, I repeat, do not do that. That will get you a straight cross, because one of the rules of rounding here is that they've asked you 1 dp, which means they only want one number sitting after the decimal point, which in this case is a 5. I thought I'd just stress that point because students often put zeros. So let's do another one. Let's change it to 2 decimal place. Once again, the number now we need to concentrate on. Whoops. So we know that we're looking at this 5 because that is the second decimal place. So we write 1, 2, 3 point. But before we finish the job, we say, well, that 5, it is a rounding job here because it is rounding. Look to the right, 6. Is that 5 or more? Yes, it is. So the 5 over here now becomes a 6. So we write 123.46. Remember, We do not put a 0 here. We do not do that at all. No. Remember, you've been asked 2 decimal place, so there must be 2 numbers after the decimal point. No excuses. Which now leads me on to a final point. Let's say you get a question like this. And you're asked, what is this to, you know what? Yes, why not? What is this to 3 decimal places? So you say to yourself, well, hang on a minute. What a lot of students do is they look at this and say, well, we've got 3 zeros here. So there are no numbers because 0 is nothing. Well, although you are correct, unfortunately, in the rules of decimal places, zeros are numbers too. So we write, so the 3rd decimal place is this one here. 1, 2, 3. So we look to the right of the 0, which is another 0. Is that 5 or more? This number here? Definitely not. It's 0. So then this 0 that we're pointing to stays the same. So we literally write 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0. That's your answer because it's 3 decimal place. There must be 3 numbers after that decimal point. The fact there's 0 does not matter. What I think I'll do is I will leave it at that.